Hi guys, it's Sherry. Happy New Year. Welcome to my home. I am so glad that you decided to stop by. So now let's jump into some really fun and really awesome paper crafting. Stay tuned. So as most of you may know, I spent the last couple of days of 2020 making organizers to help us get our office space or our craft space or our space in general better organized for 2021. And today is no different. Today we are going to make this awesome all-in-one desktop organizer. This will hold everything that you need at your fingertips when you're crafting. So the box that I made to hold the tapes, the box that I made to hold the adhesives and the glues, those are perfect. But several of you commented that you didn't have the space on your desk for all of those and you wanted something that was all-in-one. As you can see, this box has everything in it that I would use during my crafting. I have my scissors, I have my stylus, I have my paper piercer back here, I have my ink pens, my glue, my finger blade, my tape, my little clips that I use, and I have a spot here for my replacement blades for my finger blade. I have a spot here for a roll of tape, and I have a spot here for my big old spatula. So everything that I would need would be at my fingertips in this desktop caddy. And I'm sure you know what time it is. It is time to make it. All right, guys, so here is everything we're going to need to make this project. And for those of you who are interested, I have gotten so many requests to start making kits available of my daily projects. I won't always be able to do that on every project that I do, but on this particular project, I will have 10 kits available. Now, not all of them will be the exact same paper. So for those of you who are interested, head out to my website. The link is in the description box. And like I said, I will only have 10 of these available. And when they're gone, they are gone. So make sure that you pay attention to the paper choice that you're making, because that is the paper that I will be sending to you along with all of the cut pieces. So I will have everything cut just as you see it here. All right, guys, so we're going to need quite a few chipboard pieces for this project. And for those of you who have a lot of chipboard scraps, this is a perfect way to use those. So we have 4 pieces that measure 1.5 by 4 7/8. We have 1 piece that measures 4 7/8 by 1 3/4. We have 1 piece that measures 4.5 by 1.5. We have 1 piece that measures 2.5 by 4 7/8. We have 2 pieces that measure 3 by 3 3/4. We have 2 pieces that measure 5 by 4.5. We have 1 piece that measures 4 5/8 by 5. And then we have the papers that we will need for this project. So on the very bottom of mine where I attach my feet, I am using the scrap piece, and the scrap measures 4 3/4 by 4 3/8. Then I have a piece that measures 2 by 4. I have 4 pieces that measure 2 by 10. I have 1 piece that measures 6 by 3.5, and I have 2 pieces that measure 6 by 6.5. I have 1 piece that measures 6 by 6, 1 piece that measures 5.5 by 6, and 1 piece that measures 6 by 12. So the first thing that we need to start is we need our outside liner piece, and that is the piece that measures 6 by 12. Then you need your 2 chipboard pieces that measure 5 by 4.5, and your chipboard piece that measures 4.5 by 1.5. And we are going to place these down. So I am just going to lift my tape backer, and I have added double stick tape to the backs of this chipboard. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a mock placement of my pieces. And I'm doing this just to make sure that I have enough border room, because I didn't want to have to get another sheet of paper and join it together. Now, when I do this using the paper that I'm using, it is a directional print. So on the back side of my print, my words will be upside down, and I'm okay with that because I'm keeping this. So if you want your words going in the proper direction, front and back, you will need to cut your 6 by 12 inch piece and rotate it so that the words are facing in the proper direction. then you will need to join them. I am not doing that in this video, but that is the process that you would follow. So I am going to take my middle piece and I'm placing it down. Then I'll take this piece and I'm going to place it down. And I am going to give myself about 1/8 of an inch in spacing because I am using this beautiful Prima paper and it's a thicker paper. So I am just going to place this here. Just like that. And the paper that I'm using is Apricot Honey, and it's called Sweet Apricots by Prima. And there is the SKU for anyone who's interested in trying to source this paper. So now that I have my paper down, I am going to use my stylus and just go against the chipboard and press down into my paper, because this is a Prima paper, and on occasion, some of their papers are more quick to crack than others. So I am just going down and scoring in my groove here just to try to minimize that. Doesn't always happen, but sometimes it does. And this is just one of those ways that we might be able to lessen the probability of that happening. All right, so once we have our edges scored the way that I just did, I am just standing this up and wrapping it around, and then I'll come in with my finger blade and we're going to do a miter of these corners. So I am basically just going to the corner and I'm cutting out just like that. And we'll do the same thing here. And then once you have them all cut out, you will need to take glue, tape, whatever it is you want to use to get these stuck down. Now my glue is right there along with my tape and my caddy, and I am just going to use my glue. So I'm going to fold that over, bring in my handy dandy big old spatula, get that stuck. Come down to the opposite end and do the same thing. And like I say, guys, I will have kits available, limited quantities of this particular paper pattern, but I will also have another paper pattern that will be available as well. So make sure that you pay attention to whatever paper pattern it is you're ordering, and I will only have 10 kits available. That's it for the day. All right, guys, so now we need to place down our inside liner piece, and I forgot to give you the measurement for that liner piece sheet, but we are using a liner piece that measures 10 3/8 by 4 3/4, and all I'm going to do, I am going to stand for this so that I can get good placement, and I'm going to place it down just like that. And I will use my big old spatula to get everything nice and stuck. Now on my project, I chose to go with just a pattern on pattern look, so I'm using the same pattern throughout, but you can mix and match your patterns as you wish. So that is the tall box for our project. Now we need to go in and we're going to get 2 pieces that measure 1.5 by 4 7/8, and we are going to need 2 pieces that measure 2 by 10, and we are going to place these down. So I am going to remove my tape. I'm going to take one of my pieces that place it down just like that on my 2 by 10 inch piece. Then I'll use my finger blade. When I get to the end, I'm going to stop and flare out. So I'm removing that excess. I'll do the same thing here. Remove that excess, get to the end, and flare out. Let's go ahead and do the other one so that we can have both of these done at the same time. So placing it down on my 2 by 10 inch piece at the very bottom. And then I'll use my finger blade to trim away my excess paper. Get to the end and flare out. And I'll do the same thing on this side. So I'll get to the end here and flare out. Now the reason why I'm flaring out is because when we fold this, we want to make sure that we haven't attempted to cut straight down, because if you do, more times than not, you're going to end up cutting short and you'll have some of your chipboard showing. So now I'm going to take my tape. We are just going to add some tape to the very end here. And we'll do that on both of these. And then we'll put our side pieces in. So I'm just going to lift up my tape. And I'll take this piece and I'm just going to fold it over just like that. So I'm just going to lift up that tape. We're going to do our fold over. And then I can remove my excess paper from the three sides of this side piece. And so now we can take these and do a test fit, and you can see that we have a very nice fit. So what you want is you want this to fit inside so that when you place glue and you put it in, you'll have a snug little box. And that's exactly what we're about to do right now. So we're going to take our glue and we're going to place glue on the 3 raw edges of this piece. And then we will place it on the inside and start building our box. So I have placed glue on my 3 raw edges. Now I'll take this piece and I'm just going to place it in about 1/8 of an inch. Then I'll bring up that back and bring up the front. And then just like always, I'm going to press down. And then I'll make sure that I'm pressing in on the sides so that everything stays nice and stuck. And then once my glue has had a chance to grab, I'll go ahead and do the same thing with my second piece. So I'm placing my glue on the 3 raw edges. So I'm going to take this piece, place it on the inside. Then I can press it down, squeeze in, and then we can just let that dry. So now we need to bring in our 1.5 by 4 3/8. And then I'm just going to take these and do a test fit to make sure that they will fit on the inside. And when I know that they will, I am going to bring in my other 2 pieces that measure 2 by 10, and we'll repeat that same process. So I'm going to place these down just like I did the 2 side pieces, and we'll cover these just as I did these side pieces. Because you just saw me do this process, I'm going to go ahead and do this off camera, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, so I have covered these 2 pieces, and they are going to be inserts for the tall box. So basically, just put them in and test them to make sure that they're going to slide in. And if they're not, just trim off a little and make sure that they're not sticking out over the top. And it really is up to you wherever you want to place these. So I am going to take mine out, add my glue to my 3 sides, and we will get one placed. And this part gets just a little bit messy, so I'm going to put it in just like that and then turn it to get it stuck where I want it. And then I can hold it until it's nice and firm. And we'll do the same thing with this one. So I'm going to place my glue. And we'll get this one inserted. So I'm going to put it in and just turn it to wherever it is I want it. Look at it to make sure I have it fairly straight. It won't be perfect, but it'll be good enough. And then I'm just going to squeeze it and press that down. And now you can see that we have inserts at the top. So now we need to attach this to the base. So I have my base piece that measures 4 5/8 by 5. And I am simply going to take my tape away and I'm going to place down my base. And then I'll use my stylus just as I did at the beginning, just to score around to make sure that my paper does not crack. And then I'll just stand it up and just fold it over on all 4 sides. Then I will use my finger blade to miter. And I'll use my glue to fold this over on all 4 sides. So let me grab my handy dandy big old spatula. We'll get this nice and stuck. And guys, this really is an easy project. It just has a lot of pieces to it, but the end result is beautiful for your desk. So now I'm going to take this piece and we're going to place it right there. And this is that scrap piece that measures 4 3/4 by 4 7/8. And I am just going to place a little bit of glue on this piece. And we will get it stuck. So I'm going to place it right there. Use my spatula to make sure I have that stick. And so now that we have our base, all we're going to do is take this piece and attach it to the base. We're going to attach it to the base with glue. So I am going to take my Reptile adhesive, making sure that I get it in the corners. And I'm going to make sure that we have a nice little stick on this. Then I'll take it and I'm going to place it down. So then when I put it down, I want to make sure that everything is nice and flush at the back and at the front. So I don't have any overhang on the back side. So now what we're going to do is we're going to bring in our 2 pieces that measure 3 by 3 3/4. And we're going to bring in our 2 pieces that measure 6 1/2 by 6. And the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and cut these into this shape here. So I'm going to place my ruler on the 3 3/4 inch side, and I'm going to come up to 1 1/2 of an inch and make a mark. And I'll do it on this side so that y'all can see what I'm doing. So on the 3 3/4 inch side, I'm going to come up to 1 1/2. Then I'll take that mark, place my ruler on that mark, and then I can take my ruler and just move it to the end. And then I'll take my pen and just make a little score so that you guys can see what I just did. So all I did was place my ruler on that mark and then angled it. And that is how I'm going to get these sweet little angle cuts that we're going to have on our project. So then I'll just trim this out. So now that I have one trimmed, I can use that as my guide on my second one. So I have already done my second one, so I'll go ahead and cover this one with you guys. So I am going to take my tape from the back. So then when I place this down, I am going to place it down just like that in the corner. And then that way I'll be able to just fold that over just like that. But first, I want to go ahead and I am just going to trim away this piece so that it will not be in the way when I do my fold over. And this time, I am just going to add some glue to this. It's not a big piece, so I shouldn't have any warping. So I'm going to take this, wrap it around just like that. And now I can cut out my sweet little angled piece. So now I'm going to bring in my two pieces, and they will go down just like this on my board here. So we're going to take our glue and place them down. So I am just going to take my glue, place it on two raw edges, the two long raw edges. And then I'm going to place them, but when I place them, I am going to come in about 1/8 of an inch. So when I place it down, and I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. So when I placed it down, you can see that I came in about 1/8 of an inch from here. And I'll do that on the other side, but first I want to make sure that I get a really good stick started on this. And I'll do the same thing over here. I'm going to take my glue and place it on the two long edges like this. Then on this side, I'll come in 1/8 of an inch there. And we will have our sweet little angled side pieces down. So when you get them stuck, press them down and press them back so that you're pressing them against this piece. And this will be your divider piece that will go on the inside. But now that we have that stuck, we want to go ahead and cover the front. We are going to bring in our piece that measures 1 3/4 by 4 7/8, and that will be placed right here on the front. So I am going to bring in my piece that measures 4 7/8 by 1 3/4. I'm going to place just a little bit of glue right there, and then I'll place this down on my decorative paper that measures 6 by 3 1/2. And then I'm just going to do exactly what you saw me do before. I'll trim away the excess and flare out. And now I'm just going to take just a little bit of my glue, place some glue, and then we'll fold that over just like that. And then I will trim away my excess. And because I use scraps on this piece, right here at the bottom, I'm going to have just a little bit of chipboard showing, but that piece is going to be placed right there, just like that, and you'll never ever see it. So I am going to take my glue, place my glue right here, and then I'm going to take my glue, place some glue right here along the bottom, and then when I take these pieces, I'll get them stuck just like that. We'll give that a chance to dry. But now you can see that we have this sweet little desktop box. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my piece that measures 2 1/2 by 4 7/8. That is my inside divider. I'm going to go ahead and cover it using my paper that measures 5 1/2 by 6. And I'll place it down just like that. We'll do that same process of removing our excess. And then I'll place some glue on this as well. You can do this piece with tape if you want. I am just placing some glue because it's quick. Then I'll take this piece and fold it over. And then I will remove my excess. And so I have intentionally cut this piece just a little bit larger because when you're placing these side pieces, depending on how far you go in, you want to make sure that you have enough chipboard cut out so that your insert will fit and not be too short. So I am just going to start taking away some of that excess until we have a fit. So after trimming, I ended up with a piece that measured approximately 4 5/8 inches long. And all I'm going to do is take my glue, place my glue on the 3 raw edges of my chipboard, process you guys see me do all of the time, and then we will get this stuck. So I'm going to take this piece, place it inside. Where you choose to place it is completely up to you, but once you have it in the way that you want it, go ahead and press in on those sides and press down and just kind of hold it until you have a stick. And then we're going to take our piece that measures 1 3/8 by 1 1/2 and we're going to place it down on our scrap piece that measures 2 by 4. We're going to place it down just like that. And we will cut it out just as we did all of the other pieces that we needed to trim away the excess. So now I'll take my glue, place my glue here, fold that over, and then we can take our glue, place the glue on this small little insert here, and it's totally up to you where you want to place it. I am going to place that one, and I'll just hold it until it's stuck. And so now, guys, we have our completed little all-in-one desktop caddy. I am going to go ahead and just put some stuff in here so that y'all can see just how easy it is to use this. So I am just loading up some different items in these back little sections here. Take my big old spatula and a roll of tape, put it right there. I'll take my tape runner. I will take my extra blades, my glue, my finger blade, and my clips. Don't forget my handy dandy stylus. And now I am all set on having this desktop caddy. And I can just set this out because what I need to craft in the moment is right here. That means that I don't have to have out a whole bunch of different things because I have what I need in this caddy. So I am going to just bring in the two so that you can see what they look like. The kit that I will be offering will not have the handle or the feet. It is just going to be the construction of the project along with the beautiful paper and the pre-cut pieces of chipboard. Now I will have an option to purchase these for the complete look, but the kit that I'm selling is truly just to make the body as we have made it in today's project. So if you're interested, head on out to my website. Like I said, I'm only going to have 10. And once those 10 are gone, I will not be selling any more of this particular kit. So guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this super fun project. And I hope that it has given you some ideas on simple ways that you can organize your desk. If you have enjoyed this project, please hit the like button. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, I would love to have you join my wonderful online crafting family. You guys be safe, be kind, happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.